So, to talk about the Electoral College, we need to talk about a nonpartisan race. When you look at the recent examples, you had George W. Bush, who didn't win the popular vote in 2000, but he won the Electoral College, so therefore he became president. And then you also had Donald Trump do the same thing. So it looks like the Democrats keep winning the popular vote, and the Republicans keep winning the Electoral College vote. Republicans act like they're super smart and strategic. Ooh, I'm super smart and strategic. And the Democrats are acting like, oh, well, we actually won the popular vote, so, we should just change the system, and therefore. So it could very much feel like a partisan kind of issue. It's not a partisan issue. So to find a nonpartisan example, it's not just 2000 to 2016. It also happened in 1876, 1888, and 1824. So we can look throughout history and see if, in 1876 in the Tilden v. Hayes, was it okay that Samuel Tilden got fucked in 1876? Was it okay that Hillary Clinton got fucked in 2016? Was it okay that Grover Cleveland got fucked in 1888? Was it okay that Al Gore, was it okay that Andrew Jackson got fucked in 1824? When is it okay for the person who won the election to not win the election, the person who didn't win the election to win it? Oh, you lost the election? Well, get on in there. You're the president. Oh, you won the presidency? Well, you sit the hell down. In a democracy, one person, one vote. The person that gets the most votes gets to become the president. What the fuck? What the fuck? This should totally be a national election. This should be a national election. And so when it comes to, I don't give a shit about Samuel Tilden, Grover Cleveland, Andrew Jackson. I don't give a shit about any of those people. But they got fucked. They got fucked. The Electoral College fucked them over. They won the popular vote, but the Electoral College robbed them. They took their presidency away from them, and it's not fair. It's not fair. So Andrew Jackson, he's going to be the president from 1829 to 1837. So Andrew Jackson is going to preside over the 1830s. But this is before. This is one before 1824. So they stopped Andrew Jackson for one term, but he's just going to come back, and so they just delayed the inevitable anyways. But Andrew Jackson is a low-life piece of shit. He's a slave-owning, Native American murdering piece of shit. Andrew Jackson is guilty for both of America's two original sins, slavery and genocide. Instead of liberating the slaves like Kentucky-born Abraham Lincoln, Andrew Jackson oppressed them. He wasn't no Harriet Tubman. He wasn't liberating no Americans. He was oppressing Americans. Instead of integration, Andrew Jackson chose the Trail of Tears. So instead of integration, he goes, no, thousands, get on your horses and start, and they died. Thousands died on the Trail of Tears. Instead of unity, instead of e pluribus unum, out of many, there's one. Out of many nations, there's one nation. Not for Andrew Jackson. Instead of e pluribus unum, he chose disunity and concentration camps. That's the main reason that Donald loves Andrew Jackson, because of his racism, because of his white supremacy. Where are them damn Tubmans at? Andrew Jackson was a terrible president. Where are the damn Tubmans at? We were supposed to have the Tubmans about, 10 years ago. So I can't stand Andrew Jackson as a man, as a person, much less as a president. He did fight like 100 duels, which is amazingly insane. Either he's very lucky or just, fires a split second before the other one. But yeah, fuck Andrew Jackson. Fuck Andrew Jackson. He's a piece of shit. Fuck Andrew Jackson. But in 1824, he won the presidency. In 1824, he won the presidency. He won the presidency in 1828, but he won it 4 years prior. They made him run all over again. They made him win the presidency twice before they would give Andrew Jackson the presidency. And so what's going to happen in 1824? So 1824, there's a lot of things that's going on. But ultimately, 1824, there's going to be a corrupt bargain. Henry Clay is going to throw his weight behind John Quincy Adams in the contingent election, the House of Representatives. The way the American election system works is if the Electoral College doesn't pick a majority, there isn't a majority victor, because they're saying Andrew Jackson, he might have won the popular vote, he might have won the Electoral College vote, but he won the plurality. He didn't win the majority. And since he didn't win the majority, therefore they took the presidency away from him. And so they took the presidency away from Andrew Jackson via the Electoral College, right? Goes to the House of Representatives. They went ahead and voted. They went ahead and threw out the election, the entire election of the United States people. They threw out that election, and then it goes to the House of Representatives. It goes to the House of Representatives, and then they vote. The House of Representatives voted on the president, so it went to those people. So the American people didn't even choose in 1824 who their president was going to be. They did choose. They wanted Andrew Jackson, but the aristocracy didn't want that. Henry Clay goes to John Quincy Adams in the House of Representatives contingent election, eventually pick John Quincy Adams, and then he becomes the president. So is that fair? Is that fair? People are saying that 6 states electors were legislative appointed rather than popularly elected. Nobody actually won the majority electoral votes, so nobody could say, well, there was a majority won. No, John C. Calhoun, he was actually the running mate for both John Quincy Adams and Andrew Jackson. So John C. Calhoun, that's pretty smart. Who's the vice president for Andrew Jackson? John C. Calhoun. So he got the vice presidency, right? That was just an interesting tidbit, an interesting aside. But 1824, Andrew Jackson wins 41% of the vote, 150,000 votes, compared to John Quincy Adams' 31%, 113,000 votes. So Jackson just has 35,000 more votes, and then Jackson beat Quincy by 10 points, by 10 percentage points. So Andrew Jackson beat John Quincy Adams with the popular vote, beat him with the Electoral College vote. But that wasn't enough. He was only a plurality winner. And so they went ahead and nullified his election, nullified his presidency, canceled the Andrew Jackson presidency for another 4 years because he didn't win a majority. It goes to the House of Reps, and then that's who decided the 1824 election. The House of Reps chose the 1800 election too. The only time it goes to the House of Reps is if the Electoral College is a tie or if there is no majority victor. And so, even though Hillary Clinton, she didn't play the Electoral College. So, anyways, yeah, Electoral College is bullshit. The person that gets the most votes should be the victor. Andrew Jackson deserved victory. He deserved the presidency in 1824, just like Samuel Tilden, who was terrible, and Grover Cleveland. Both of these are terrible guys. They're terrible presidencies. I am not a Grover Cleveland supporter. I am not a Grover Cleveland supporter or a Samuel J. Tilden supporter. Fuck Samuel J. Tilden. The 1876 election was terrible because it ended Reconstruction. So Reconstruction was actually the direction our country should have gone in. But again, like I said, I don't give a fuck about this goddamn Andrew Jackson. I don't care about Andrew Jackson, Grover Cleveland, or Samuel Tilden, but they won their elections. And they were fucked over. They were fucked over just like Al Gore and Hillary Clinton got fucked over. Not because I'm partisan, not because I'm for Democrat, because I'm for democracy. You got 100 people in a room, and most of the people voted for one guy and not the other guy. Even if you got that plurality argument, who else are you going to give it to? Andrew Jackson won 41% of the people's vote and, won most of the Electoral College. But he didn't become president. Why? Because of bullshit. Some bullshit in the fucking background. Eventually, Andrew Jackson's going to win, but who would, this guy got most votes. This guy got the second amount of most votes. Well, give it to him? No, you can't. I don't see how you can make an argument. I don't see how you can make any other argument. That person got most votes, so let's do some shenanigans and not actually believe in democracy and majority vote and... Okay, if that's the game you're playing, well, that's a different game. But if you're saying this is a democracy and shit's fair and, you are drinking the Kool-Aid. That's for goddamn sure. That's for goddamn sure. But, so 1824, they fucked Andrew Jackson over. See, the Electoral College is bullshit. The Electoral College is bullshit. The person that wins the most votes should get the goddamn presidency. Fuck.